Hi, I'm Diane.
And I'm Paul.
And we are
Car Zombies!
Today I'm going to change my oil.
Why? Are you squeaking?
Sometimes I do.
Well, why don't you squeak out why you're changing your oil?
Well, I decided to fix my car myself. And one of the first things that we did was change my oil.
Yeah, that was about 7,000 miles ago. We didn't film it, but we had 5 major mistakes that we made. And we thought, okay, let's change the oil again. And this time we'll tell you about those mistakes. You want to get started?
Let's get started.
Okay, first let's talk about the supplies. We're going to need oil, a filter, and a crush washer.
Need paper towels, rag, eye protection, and of course, little stickers to put on your car to show when you changed your oil, the mileage.
This is one of our major mistakes, so we
And
put
the date.
this. Whoa, so we need this. Okay.
Nice catch.
Yeah, thank you. So let's talk about the tools.
Okay.
The first thing we're going to need is to somehow get the front of the car up, in your case, and this is probably true of a lot of cars, because you got to get under there and take out an oil plug. To get your car up, we're going to put it on ramps. However, the ramps weren't obvious. They started sliding. If you put doormats in a specific part of the ramps underneath it, then you can make it safe to drive up on the ramps and not break anything or anyone. Then you put wheel chocks on the back wheels so your car doesn't roll back down. And the other backup is jack stands, but I don't know where they put them.
There they are.
Oh, and then we need jack stands. Now, this is just maybe being a little paranoid. These ramps probably won't break, but we don't want to take any chances. Our car is only 5 inches off the ground. I'm a little bit more than 5 inches if I'm under it. In this case, you may fit. and so this will catch the car if it does jerk for some reason. And so we should be safe.
Weren't there 2 more supplies you needed?
Yes, we also going to need a place for the old oil to go. So you need an oil drain pan.
And a funnel.
And because of your car, you're going to need to take off the bottom plate. So for that, you're going to need an 8mm socket. And this will fit it, this wrench. And then to take off the oil plug, you're going to need a 13mm, so that'll be for your oil plug. And you're going to need a pick. This is really unique to your car. So you can pick off the O-rings around her oil filter. It's a weird oil filter housing thing. And the neat new tool I bought on this project was, and you need a 22mm socket for the new tool. It goes on top of the new tool. And this is the thing that you put over your filter and it grabs it, your oil housing unit, and you can, using a socket, you can turn it and take off the oil filter housing. And you can also now use a torque wrench, like you're supposed to torque the oil drain bolt, but also you could torque the oil housing unit in properly.
Can we change my oil now?
Yeah. I believe you committed to doing your projects on your car. I'll read the instructions. You can change the oil.
Okay, I'll change the oil.
Okay, let's go do it. Let's get the car on ramp.
All right. Hi, y'all.
Okay, here I got my list. It tells us all the tasks we need to do.
I love his notes.
The first thing is run the engine for at least 15 minutes before changing the oil. We did that. The car's warm. In fact, it's hot.
Okay, I'll be careful, like hot oil.
Yeah, right. Next thing is put the front of the car on the ramps. This was the first major mistake that everyone needs to be careful of. You can't just buy ramps and drive up on them in your garage and have it work. Apparently, we found that out the hard way. It took us 4 or 5 tries. The ramps, one would slide or the other. It was dangerous. It was so dangerous, in fact, that we created a whole video about it, and we recommend you watch the video. And it'll show all the problems and all the solutions. The fundamental solution
Is doormats.
And so we put doormats only under one part of the ramp. It's important that you don't put it on the back of the ramp, actually.
Underneath the ramp, but a certain spot, so you need to watch the video.
Yeah, watch the video, learn how it works. And we also talk about how to use wheel chocks. It's a great video, okay? And now let's go get the car and put it on ramps.
I'm ready. Perfect.
Wow, the first try. That's
Yes.
awesome. Next item is set the emergency brake and pop the hood. Put on latex gloves and safety goggles. You're going under.
Going under.
You'll find 4 bolts under there that you need to.
Okay. This one right here.
Yeah, you're on it. All right, that's the first one. There's one on all 4 corners. There's a thing that looks like a waffle maker on the bottom of the engine. See that?
Yeah.
Now on the side towards me is the oil drain plug.
Looks like a nut and a bolt. Is
Yeah,
that
that's
it?
We just need to clean around it. And you're cleaning around it so that as we're working, if we happen to touch near it or somewhere around it, we want to let new debris in. We're going to do that with everything we open up.
It's kind of the way I do it with waffles too. I want to make sure all my tools are clean.
You're so funny. Let me show you how it works, all right? We want to make sure the top is screwed all the way on because we don't want any oil coming out. We need to take this off so that as the oil is hitting the pan, it's going to flow towards this area here, and you want it to go in. And you want to take off this little air breather hole thing too.
So how do I place it under the car?
You want to place it, the oil's going to come out of the car like this and shoot into it. So I'd put like let the car drip right about here. So the oil plug's kind of in line with this. See how the arrow's pointing?
Yeah.
That way the oil will kind of hit almost where it's going to drain in.
Okay.
Use a 13mm ratchet to loosen the oil drain plug. I remember we over torqued it.
I don't think I can get.
It's fun watching you.
If I put my foot here, maybe. Nope, can't do it. I tried. Hand unturn it?
Yeah. Leaking already?
Yeah.
Is it hitting the bucket?
It's in the bucket.
All right. The next item on my list, Di, is to clean around the oil fill cap. Do you know which one's the oil fill cap?
This one?
No.
This one?
Yep. Clean everywhere around it because you don't want debris to fall into that either. Okay, now take it off. Want me to start it?
Yeah, I can't get it open. Oh, it looks like that's it.
Yeah.
Oh, look at so. I see some like gook in there.
Yeah, that might be a little bit of sludge. So that's what it looks like inside.
Yeah.
Well, still a little sludge. It looks less than I remember from before though.
Oh, good.
All right, take a paper towel and stuff it into the top of this so air can get in, but debris can't.
Oh.
So more oil will drip down into the pan. And this over here is your oil filter housing. Your oil filter's in there and it's a big contraption. We're gonna do that next. So take a paper towel and clean around it. You can use a socket with a 22mm socket on that, and you can now loosen it that way. Remember, from the bottom of the wrench. Here you go. Good job.
Do I take it off?
Yeah. All right, this is going to be messy when it comes out.
Okay. Do I change the filter every time I change the oil?
Yes. Change the filter every time you change the oil. The filter's only guaranteed for about as long as the oil is.
Okay. Oh. Okay.
We're going to eventually have to get it off. Good, you got the filter out. Next, you got to take these rings off.
There's one.
Do you need help? You do got it. There you go.
Hey.
It's got like this I didn't expect. There's some sort of thing on it, but you don't need this. So it's making me wonder if it's the same. Okay, the filters I ordered on the internet came in the wrong filters. So I went to the local store and I bought these. They're good for 20,000 miles. These filters, they come with the filter and these are the O-rings. And so you need to put these O-rings on here just like you took the old ones off. So
Okay.
you start with the big one and work your way down. They get smaller every step of the way.
All right. Work with the big one first.
Yeah, that looks pretty easy.
That was easy. Just work my way down, big to little.
I think you could probably roll it down maybe with your thumbs.
You can do that. There's these out of here.
Oh, I forgot to tell you, we should use a little dab of oil on your fingers as you do it.
There's plenty of oil on my
Okay,
fingers.
good. Because that way it lubricates the O-ring a little bit.
Yes. I'm touching this.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
got
sure it's
oil.
got plenty of oil on it. They go on a lot easier than they come off.
Yep. This is the best tool you can have.
The hand.
The hand.
So now put the filter on. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now we're gonna put this on. We're gonna use a torque wrench set to 25 Newton meters with a 22 millimeter socket. This is one of our big mistakes last time. The last time we did this, I used this tool here. I don't know what it is. I managed to somehow get it to hook onto the oil filter housing, and I tightened it really tight with my hand. I read afterwards online in a blog, some guy over tightened it and it cracked the oil filter housing. He drove off and he left a 6-inch streak of oil all the way through down the block.
It must have been a pretty bad crack.
Yeah. Was that a click?
No, I don't think so.
That sounded like a click.
Okay.
Okay, the next item on the list is make sure the car sat for at least a half hour. We've been over a half hour, so we had to go run and get a different filter.
Yes.
So now it's time to push the oil pan out of the way. That'll work, just pull it out. So we wipe clean the part that has oil exposed. Okay, Di, here's your top. I'll just put it in, all right?
All right.
So this is great. Let's just set this aside for now. Look at that. That's really neat, isn't it?
That's great.
I like this a lot better than the old way.
Me too.
Hand start the new oil drain plug with a new sealer washer on it. We're going to torque it at 30 Newton meters. Does that give? That sounds like a click.
I heard a click.
You're done. This was one of our major mistakes the last time. Remember that?
Yes.
We way over torqued it. We could have sheared off the top of that oil bolt, and then we would have had to replace the oil pan, the bolt, all kinds of things. It would have been a disaster.
Wow, we're lucky.
We're really lucky. Okay, Di, we got to put the bottom plate back on. This would be hard to do if your bumper wasn't broken. Just tighten it snug.
That's snug. All right.
Glad to be out from under the car?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, so you've taken out the paper towel from the oil drain. Now we can put the oil in. We need to put a total of 8.5 quarts. Each one of these is 5 quarts, okay? So we know we have to use at least one. The fourth major mistake we made last time is we filled the oil all the way to the correct reading on the dipstick while the car was on ramps. We ended up putting the whole 10 quarts into the car. It's only supposed to take 8.5. But the dipstick read, okay, it's now finally at the center. The next thing we did was we took the car off ramps and we drove it around for a while, and we checked the oil like a couple days later and we noticed it was way over full. We got scared because that's not good for a car. So we bought siphoning tubes and a suction tool, and we had to go through a lot of effort. We sucked out 1.5 quarts of oil to get it back to 8.5. You do want to put oil in before you drive it off the ramps, because otherwise you're driving without oil. That's really dangerous. But you know it takes 8.5 quarts. Don't put 10 in. And I got a present for you.
A present?
Yes.
I love presents.
You probably didn't notice this, but I bought you a new dipstick.
Wow.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Thank you.
Now, remember your old one? It's broken. It
was broken?
See how it's got a little crack here?
Oh, it is.
So it's always kind of awkward to work with. So you see it's kind of got to the bottom here. No, let's leave it there. Actually, we're going to go for about halfway. Yeah. So we're going to remove all this equipment and stuff, put the lid back on the oil.
Okay.
And then we're going to drive it off the ramps, bring it back in the garage, let it sit for about 5 minutes so that all that oil drains back into the pan, because the dipstick's checking how deep it is in the pan. So you only check your oil when the car is not on ramps. Or not on ramps and not running.
Okay.
It's been 5 minutes. Here's a paper towel.
All right.
Why don't you check your dipstick? Let's see what we get. So let's put in enough. We want to try to get it more to like about here. The center is what they tell us. Oh, when you read a dipstick, you're supposed to put it in, clean it, then put it in again.
Oh, okay.
Because while the engine was running, it was running the oil onto the dipstick.
It looks like it's exactly to the full.
All right, cool. Let's call that a day, and we'll try to find a more level surface to double check it later.
That's awesome.
All right, Di, we're almost done. Last couple of steps. First, we got to close the hood. This is something minor mistake we made last time. Do you remember?
Yes.
We didn't close it all the way, and it was half up and going blah, blah, blah. Okay, no gargling. All right, so that's the... And the last thing, which was a major mistake, is we went too long between oil changes. We had, the last time we had it changed before we did it ourselves, we had a mechanic change it. And the mechanic didn't reset the computer, nor did he put a sticker on it. So we ended up going for 20,000 miles before we realized, hey, we haven't changed the oil in a while. So we ended up looking at the oil and we found sludge. Sludge is a little tiny deposits that are starting to build up in your oil, and that is really bad for your engine. We're also taking longer trips. That's one of the bad things, was we weren't taking real long trips, and you have to take a long trip every once in a while to really get that engine hot so that synthetic oil gets more lubricated everywhere. The filter will take out the bad stuff if the filter isn't past its due date. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna put a sticker on the thing, you do that, and I'll take this camera and I'll show them how to reset the computer, and then we're done.
Okay.
All right. Mileage is 182,814.
Thank you.
Okay, here's how to reset the computer on Diane's ELK 430. First, you put the key in the ignition and turn it to the second setting. Next, you find the service buttons. You press the big button until you see this screen with the miles on it. Then you press the button on the top above it until you see the wrench. You press the R button over here and hold it for about 4 seconds, and it asks you to confirm, and then you press the R button again for 4 seconds again. It beeps and it tells you it's been reset. Okay, Di, congratulations.
Thank you.
You did it. It was pretty easy, wasn't it?
Yeah, I changed my oil.
Yep, now we know how to do it.
Yeah.
And it was safe and clean and everything worked out.
Mm-hmm.
So what are the 5 things, those 5 things that you should know about when you're changing your oil?
Make sure you're safe with the ramps.
Yeah, the ramp slide. And make sure if you have an oil filter housing that you use the correct torque on it. And then the next one is also make sure the oil drain plug that you use the correct torque on it. These over-torquing of these items can cause major damage to your engine, your car, the environment if it starts leaking oil. So do that right.
And the other thing is to check your oil on a flat surface, not on ramps.
Right. Don't do the final checking while you're still on the ramps. That's a great item. That's a great item. And then the final item is make sure you reset your computer and put a note. Even if you reset your computer, put that note up there, because that note up there is really handy so that you know when to change your oil, or when the last change was. All right.
All right.
That's it. Well, let's go on. We got more work to do. I think we're going to do my oil next.
Okay.
It needs it.
It does. All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks. Bye. Thanks for
Bye.
watching.